Support for exploring the American spirit is provided by Sassy Shears, Riverside Salon, Spa, and Boutique, where clients can spend an hour or an entire day. Hair, nails, skincare, and massage for adults and children. More online at sassyshears.com.
Hello, I'm Mary Parks. American spirit. Say those words and many images come to mind. You may think of heroic acts in times of tragedy, a person or an entire family that overcomes adversity. In reality, selfless acts by ordinary individuals that help others take place every day in every part of our country. They aren't likely to make the headlines, but their impact is just as real, and the effect on our communities is just as powerful. At Exploring the American Spirit, we're going to take a look at some of the phenomenal accomplishments done by people who saw a need and found a way to meet it. I'll be your guide on this incredible journey, so pull up your chair and relax as we explore the American spirit.
Every year, thousands of captive-bred exotic animals are euthanized. It's an ugly truth behind the exotic animal market. Abandoned, abused, neglected, and in many cases illegally obtained, these animals all needed the same thing: a home. We met a man in California's high desert who has made a lifelong commitment to help educate people about the exotic pet trade. With a great love for all animals, Joel Almquist and his wife Shemaine created Forever Wild Exotic Animal Sanctuary, a home for captive-bred animals that zoos will not take.
I love the animals. I think that's why most people, whether they're animal trainers or they're, do anything with animals, you gotta love them. I mean, even though it's hard, there's times I want to pull my hair out. There's times that I say things that I probably shouldn't say. I just get frustrated. But, there's times where I, come here and I just, I'll hang out with the animal, outside of the cage, or some of them I can handle, and just kind of hang out with them by myself, and, then I'm good.
Almquist works 7 days a week at his sanctuary. After acquiring USDA and Fish and Game licenses, he began gathering volunteers to help with the mission of caring for exotics.
I had a 3-car garage, and then I had a room inside that I kept all the reptiles in. And, it was all up to code. I mean, it maybe not look the greatest, but it was, up to code and all that stuff. But it was just real difficult to work around, all the things that I had to do back then. We had one small shed that we converted into basically a feed room that I had, freezers in, and the electrical was, having issues with the electrical, in there and things like that. And
So this ABC show comes in, and now you've got this fabulous setup.
Yeah.
But your routine is the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Thank God we have more, volunteers now, and without them, we wouldn't even be here. We have some of these girls that come in here and guys, but most of the girls that come in, I mean, some show up at 7 o'clock in the morning and don't leave till 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Joel and Shemaine, along with their volunteers, exemplify the can-do attitude of the American spirit.
I'm one of the exotic animal senior keepers here at Forever Wild, where I care for, handle, and help rescue numerous species of exotic animals, ranging from alligators, monkeys, tigers, African servals, you name it, we're there.
Not only do they provide a safe haven for these wild animals, they also provide educational programs to help teach people about these beautiful animals and how to preserve them from extinction.
I love them all. I'm really liking to work with the big cats a lot. They're really fun. It's nice to get to know all their personalities and get to learn what they like and what they don't like, and that's getting really fun to me.
Do you ever get nervous?
Yes, I mean, we're always very careful. So, we're always very, very careful. We're always watching what we're doing, where our body's at, where, the animals are. So there's always two of us when we're back by the cats. And there's a lot of the animals here, not just the cats, that we have to have two of us that go feed together and clean together. So we're very, very careful.
And talk to us about the rewarding end of this job.
It's just great. I mean, how many people can say that they get to be around tigers and all these wonderful animals? How amazing is it? It's so fun. I love it.
And the educational aspect, the children that come through here?
They love it. I mean, it's so rewarding. Like, I can't even put it all into words exactly. It's great.
We don't stop. I deal with a lot of wardens, fish and game wardens here in California, and they all know that. I mean, they can call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. It may take me a few minutes. I may fumble with the phone a few times, but I've gone to Hemet one time to pick up an alligator that was with a drug bust basically, and there was DEA there, and there was the sheriff there, and they wouldn't go inside until I removed the alligator. And
I think people don't realize, what do you do when you stumble across an alligator or a big cat or something, an exotic animal?
Yeah, I mean, it can be to me, I kind of take it for granted because I've done it so much, and it's, real simple. I just walked in there and grabbed it and pulled it right out, and I was done. We had DEA agents there with, guns drawn, and I was more worried about them than I was the alligator.
What may start out as an adorable and appealing baby animal is destined to become an adult of its species. These are not meant to be pets, and few owners have the resources, knowledge, or dedication to properly care for these animals.
Somebody will go online, and it's typically young men that will find, like a baby alligator, let's say, and they're $55, $60. They buy it, FedEx brings it to them, and I would say 90% of the alligators that I get are between the size of 32 and 36 inches long. And that's usually the size where it's that's really gonna hurt or cause damage when it bites. So I've got people that will turn them over. I've had animal control call me. Fish and Game that has called me. I try not to, if someone's bringing me something that's illegal, I don't get, the law enforcement involved. I'd rather take the animal, give them, so they're not in trouble, and we just give it just go away. It's just a done deal. And a lot of people know that, and I've had all kinds of things, servals, I've had sloths, I've had all kinds of stuff that have been given to us that way.
Suddenly, in the middle of our visit, Almquist received an emergency call. A woman had found an alligator in her swimming pool. In a place known as Horsetown, USA, it's not uncommon to see horses hitched to a post. But in Norco, California, a gator is a very different story.
So if this was a female, it could get up to, 8-9 foot. Males can get up to, 12 to 16 foot. The largest one on record, I believe, is 19 foot 6 inches and almost 2,000 pounds.
The likely story here is that the baby gator was shipped here and simply grew too large to handle, especially with such sharp teeth. Almquist crates the gator and heads back to the high desert. Once the cute phase is over, owners often become overwhelmed and look for someone or somewhere to take the animal. Sadly, there are few options. The lucky ones find their way to Forever Wild.
Ava is a red fox. She's about 10 years old, and she came to us from somebody out in Oklahoma that had her. It was an older couple. They had her, just raised her like a dog, and she pretty much thinks that's what she is. It's just that they got too old. They couldn't,
Right.
they were having health problems and stuff, so that we, ended up taking her.
Okay, most people do not have a fox as a pet, though.
Yeah. She does have, she has a hematoma right here that basically her ear has folded down. A lot of people think that the ear is missing. And we don't know exactly what happened. It was that way when they got.
But look at her. She is like a dog. She just
Yep.
rolls over.
Yep.
The red fox is not native to California, but neither are many more animals that have found refuge here, like Gypsy.
It's a rough day, huh?
Tell us about this cat.
So this is Gypsy. She came from a real good friend of mine that actually uses cats in film work and stuff like that. She came from a facility that wasn't real good to her. She was in real poor condition when he got her. Yeah, she's a really big female lion.
And she weighs roughly?
Guesstimating, I would say she's probably at about 325 pounds. An average African lioness would be probably 225 to 250. But she is the most vocal cat that we have here. Every night when we go home, you can hear her calling to us, and you can actually hear her almost a mile away, all the way at the end of the road.
Really?
Yeah.
Yet when Almquist is near, Gypsy appears calm, trusting, knowing she will be cared for in spite of her fierce appearance.
I know what is wrong. I know what? Oh my gosh, I know. What? I know. Oh gosh, I know. How are you? Huh? Oh gosh. Huh. I know.
As we walk through this desert sanctuary, we learn of a playful monkey that doesn't especially like women and even throws rocks. And then there's Harley, as in Davidson.
Harley right here was found in Hesperia. He was going from rooftop to rooftop, and animal control went down there, and he had a little Harley Davidson collar on. So obviously we had to name him Harley. And he can be a little,
Well, he's beautiful. He just looks like a large house cat.
Yep. He does have a little bit, I mean, he's nice, but he does have an attitude every once in a while, especially when food is around. He'll try to, he's not a gentleman.
Bobcats, Almquist says, are some of the toughest cats you'll ever see. So why then would our own photographer climb into the cage with 3 bobcats?
But unless cornered, a bobcat would never hurt, an adult or even a child.
People just don't know that.
Yeah. Actually, Harley didn't even care that you were touching him.
We especially like the story of Zorro, much like that of a woman forced to wear painful high heels.
There is no such thing as a black panther. It's either a black leopard or a black jaguar. We got him from a magician. He was jumping up on the magician. The magician didn't like that. So unfortunately, he had been declawed. And he had a lot of damage in his feet. So we had a reconstructive surgery done. After that was done, his whole mentality, everything about him just changed 180 degrees. He was extremely friendly. He was, just back to normal, what he should have been.
So he was unfriendly when his feet hurt.
Oh yes, yeah. He was very, very, I don't want to say aggressive, but it just, I think it was more displaced anger, just because he was in pain. But he would bounce from one side of the enclosure to the next without ever touching the ground, and his feet were bleeding. I mean, it was just, all this stuff, and we didn't want him to, that was no life.
It's a stunning shot to film such beautiful animals. But after hours of doing so, this cat walks up as if to say enough and takes a swipe at our cameras. The best reward is when families enjoy the beautiful animals that Almquist has cared for. Forever Wild spans over many acres in the California desert and is home to everything from llamas to turtles, gators, and birds.
I just recently moved to Phelan, and I Googled things to do in Phelan, and we had a kid with us, so we found this place. It was 4 miles from my house. So, yeah, we came out here to check it out, and I can't believe it. It's awesome.
Not your average zoo, right?
No, not at all. You feel like you're a little bit closer to the animals, and yeah, it's very nice.
As is often the case, the level of self-sacrifice for their mission takes a financial toll, and raising money is a constant pressure. To meet the financial needs of their operation, Joel and Shemaine became a 501c3, a nonprofit corporation.
It's a nonprofit, and it's strictly donations. It's it probably costs us in the neighborhood of almost 10 grand a month just to survive. And thank God, like I said, for the meat program that we're in. If we didn't have the meat program that we were in, I don't even know if I could do it. It would cost me 25, 30 grand a month. Yeah, so it's very expensive, but we have tours. People come through, they get to see.
Between the educational programs they offer and the donations they generate, their goal is to never have to turn away an animal in need.
I've been doing it for 20-something years, and, I don't see that I'll ever stop.
Their commitment to the animals in their care and to educating the public about the needs of these beautiful creatures is both admirable and heartwarming. That's the American spirit. Deep down, most people have an inner rock star. Screaming fans, limousines performing on stage. Well, take that dream, mix in a music education experience, and you get rock stars of tomorrow.
I think probably, everybody when they're that age wants to be a rock star or a movie star or something like that. So, they come in here with big dreams, and we give them an opportunity to kind of experience that on a small scale. We put them on a big stage like this and get them a big concert and hundreds of people watching them and that thrill of the crowd applauding for you. And of course it's not going to work out for all of them because that's just the way it is. But, we give them a little taste of that, and then they can decide whether that's really what they want to, work hard to do or not.
The idea for a school of rock music began in the fall of 2005 after Robert Gonzalez began teaching his own children about his first love, music. Then the children of a few friends joined in, and through word of mouth his classes grew. With schools slashing music programs in their area, Gonzalez and his wife Trina set out to make learning fun for young budding musicians.
Music's always just been like the forefront of his life, and since I've known him, he was a musician, and that was always his passion. And what he was doing before, I had to hear, "Oh, I hate this." So when he came up with the idea, when he came up with the idea for the school, I thought, "Sounds great. Let's, you never know until you try."
By the spring of 2006, Gonzalez's rock school opened its doors. It didn't take long for word to spread about the cool musical opportunity for so many young people across Southern California. Rock Stars of Tomorrow takes students ages 7 to 17. They are fully immersed in a one-of-a-kind rock and roll class with a chance to perform as an opening act for some of the biggest names in rock music. Haley Vega was just 12 when she started here.
My daughter's name is Haley Vega. She's 14 years old. She's been singing since she was about 5 years old in church. So she's done a lot of church stuff. And one summer, in fact, it was 2 years ago, she said, "Mom, I want to join rock band. I want to get into the rock thing." So I said, okay. So we did the vocal thing during the summertime, and then we found out there was rock school so that she could be in a band. She said, "Oh, Mom, that's for me. I want to do that." So
totally cool.
Totally cool. So it's like she's loved it. Totally loved it. It's given her confidence. She's just grown so much.
And what do the kids at school say when they hear she's part of a rock band?
Well, they all want to come and see what she does and what she sounds like. And they always tell her, "Haley, when you make it big, don't forget us." So she always says, "Mom, I'm going to be a star."
We practice a lot, and we just have fun doing it. So
yeah, I love rock school. I love Mondays and Tuesdays because that's when we have our band practice, and it's just a lot of fun. You always look forward to it, and it makes practicing worthwhile too. It's like, I'm actually going to be able to perform, so you need to practice so that you can do good.
That could be in the cards for Haley, Maddie, and Mackenzie, a trio of rock and rollers who admit performing has helped in many ways.
My name is Mackenzie, and I play the keyboard, and this has helped me because I used to be really, really shy, and I used to not talk to anybody at school. I used to just sit alone at lunch. But after this, I became more social, and I was able to talk to people and actually have a conversation with people, and I met a lot of cool friends, and most of my friends actually go to this rock school.
And how old are you?
16.
Okay, you look like a rock star.
Thank you.
Is that what you hope to do someday?
If I could, if it happens.
Come on, who wouldn't?
I know, yeah. Make money by doing what I love, yeah.
The hours of practice, we're here, Monday for 4 hours and Tuesday for 3, but they love it, and we leave school, come straight here, and they do their homework in between their band.
Okay, and what has being part of a musical group done for these girls?
I'm giving them a lot of confidence. They love it. They've never stuck to anything in their life. I put them in dance, I put them in, gymnastics and soccer and sports, and they never, stayed with something as long as they have with music because they just love it and they love coming. They never complain. I never hear them say, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to practice. They always are ready to go every day. I mean, I've never heard them complain, so they love it.
But how cool is it, too, to perform on stage for other people in a nightclub setting and you're only a teenager?
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's fun to watch from beginning because it's very, from the very beginning of band practice, they pick songs, and then they go on to, just maybe 10 seconds into that song, and then the next week a little more and a little more, and it progresses to the rock show every 12 weeks, so it's really nice, fun to watch.
When they're not on stage rehearsing, these rock students are hitting the books, homework in between sets.
They put in a lot of work too. They rehearse, they rehearse here still with us. They rehearse on their own. They're pretty dedicated for, some young kids. They're very dedicated, and their parents are a big influence, and they're pretty dedicated to it too. So I think that makes a big difference.
Because something should be shared with other people, not just something you just play by yourself in your bedroom for hours and hours. So being able to put kids together in bands and teach them to play together and have a show to practice for and an event to look forward to made it way more fun, really sped up the learning curve, and that's where it took off. So that happened in 2005, and we've gone through lots of variations and figuring out the best way to make it work for as many students as possible. So we've had to change a few times over the years and modify where we're at, but I think what we got going on right now is working really well.
While Robert and Trina work to help their students achieve success and in many cases overcome adversity, they maintain full-time jobs outside of their music school. And not long ago, Trina even battled cancer, but you'd never know it by her mere grit and determination, an example of the American spirit.
I think the most rewarding thing, we've had kids come through here who were super shy. Like a couple of kids, wouldn't even, their parents had to come in. They wouldn't get out of the car and come into Rockford because there's all these other kids in there playing music, and they were so nervous and scared about it. And to see them come out of their shell and I've had some parents tell us some great stories of how Rockford has changed their kids' lives, and that was another thing I didn't anticipate.
I think the most rewarding part.
For sure.
We've had kids that won't look you in the eye, wouldn't talk to you, didn't want to come in the lobby because there was other kids there, and those particular kids are now singing and on stage singing in front of a huge audience and rocking out and jumping up and down and smiling and laughing, and they're completely different kids. One of our parents even made us a CD of how their kids were when they started, like this, and then the span of rock school, and at the end, playing drums and singing, and it's amazing. I think that's a really rewarding thing for me anyway, definitely.
It all started here, yep. Yeah. And it all started, so they're all teenagers now, and most of the kids in that band started rock school years ago when they were like 10 years old and
9
could
and
barely
10.
play. And you should see them now. I mean, they're really getting a lot of attention from a lot of important people.
Is that the most rewarding part of this for you?
It's really super cool, I gotta say. I was not expecting that to come from them, but they just put in a lot of hard work and, got a couple of lucky breaks along the way, and I'm just really blown away by how well they're doing, and so I'm super duper proud of them.
These days, Rock Stars of Tomorrow continues to be an innovator in music education. Gonzalez and his partners are opening more locations in California, while their student rock bands now perform at events like Warped Tour and have opened for Rick Derringer, Lita Ford, and Blue Oyster Cult.
It's been a big long journey. We've had hundreds of kids come through the school. We've a lot of them have grown up now, and we get to see them what they've become. It's been really super fun.
We hope you felt the time you invested in watching today's story was worthwhile. It's a privilege for us to bring you these examples of the American spirit. Some will touch and inspire you more than others, but they all in their own way contribute to the fiber and well-being of our communities. We are humbled by the people we meet and are always amazed at what they can accomplish, often by mere grit, determination, and perseverance. That's the American spirit. Join us next time for another stop on our journey exploring the American spirit. I'm Mary Parks.